Hello, this is a recording to go through the new multi-page features. As you've seen, I've logged into SchemeServe. Of course, I'm on Labs at the moment. I'm on Slipstream, which is for demonstration purposes only, and I am in the administration section of the site. The first thing I'm going to do is show the the question editor for multi-page. So I'm going to go to questions. I'm going to go to a scheme that I know has got multi-page on, and I'm going to scroll down to this particular one here, which is multi-page. Obviously, to add a new question, a multi-page question, it would be a case of just going to add a new question down here, selecting the answer type to multi-page, and there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out of there and I'm going to edit my current multi-page question. And show you how to create questions within a multi-page component. So I'm going to click on Edit Question. I'm going to go to my multi-page tab. Now you'll notice here that this tab is very similar, almost identical actually, to the way tables work and how you can add columns in a table. We've done that to try and keep the user experience very similar, so it won't be too it won't be too difficult basically. And so in order to be able to create questions is the same thing really. You've got your questions here. In a table these are normally columns, but in the multi-page these are actual questions. Can you see here that I've created my first one as an address type. I've got my header, the same as the table, and I've got my system ID here. I've got the required option, I've got the sum option, and I've got the key question option. Now the key question option is something slightly different. What the key question option does now, it allows you to specify a particular question within multi-page that is a key question. And by key question we mean that is a question that we can reference a particular submitted multi-page answer on. And you'll understand where we're coming from later on in these series of videos. But also to clarify, this is also contained in the table question now. Right, so I've got my questions here. I'm going to add a question as well, just so that you can see how it works. So go in here. There's several different options, types of questions. Sorry. We have address, date picker, drop down. You've got your standard header texts. You've got your text box. You've got yes, no drop down and the yes, no check boxes. You've got standard radio buttons. They're all the same as they would be with normal questions, really. Obviously, some questions are restricted. There are no table questions allowed within a multi-page question. You can't have nested multi-page questions inside there. That wouldn't be good. So we've provided here the questions that are most used, basically. At some point, it may be that we may need to add more. That is something that we will assess based on popularity, and we can add them as we go along if we need to. So yep, here we are. I've added a new question. I'm going to choose just a standard drop down for now. Drop down test, and I mean you don't normally need to do this, but I'm just going to set the system ID to drop down test as well. I'm going to set it as a required item too. Okay. Another thing to note is you can actually change the order of these around. So if you want to say change the address component to go to the very bottom, simply press on the question and scroll it down to the bottom, and there we are. That's done. The maximum number of pages, what this allows you to do is choose the number of pages that someone can submit. So if you have a scenario where you only want them you only want to enable someone to submit 10 items, or actually in this case these are a load of properties, and we only want someone to be able to submit a maximum of 10 properties. So what we could do here is set the number, set that to 10, and that would then mean that someone could only submit a maximum of 10 properties. And I'll go through that later in terms of validation and how it works. The link name. The link name allows you to specify the name of the button where someone can add another set of questions. And I can show you that here. For example, I've got add new property at the moment. So if I say add new page here and I click save, what you'll see here is this has actually changed to add new page, and this is the button where you add your new pages within a multi-page. But if we do that again, if I click on edit, click on multi-page, if I want to say add new property, click on save, there you go, that's changed now to add new property. You can also see here after I've saved this, saved the set of questions, that we've got the drop down test here, and my address has also changed to the bottom as well. So I'm going to publish that. Here we are. I've got my new set of questions, and what you'll notice straight away is when I hover over my multi-page question, you will see that each question that is inside this multi-page question has now got the ability to be edited. So if I click on edit here, for example, this is a drop down, and so what you've got now are the same options that you would have for a drop down. You have the ability to add options, you have the ability to change the items within the drop down, you can add triggers still, you've got obviously the system ID, as exactly the same as a normal question is, except obviously this is being applied to a question that is within our multi-page component. So if I just cancel that, so I've got my new drop down option here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit this, and again you can see I've got the same screen. And now what I want to do is add a few options. So I'm going to add just a couple of test items in here. So I'm just going to test 1, test 2, and test 3. There you go. Click on save, and now you'll see that my new options have been added. I'm going to click on publish to get quote, which will basically mean this gets published. And there we are. I'm going to now go to my get quote section. I'm going to click on the same scheme. I'm already logged in. And now you'll see at the bottom here that this is my multi-page component, my multi-page question basically, that has now got all the other questions that I've put in there. You'll see I've got my new drop down, you'll see I've got my address control, which is down here, and you'll see that basically all the questions that we had before are here. You'll see I've got add new property, which is my label. If I were to click on that, you'll see here that a new page is added. So in this scenario, we have a new page ready for a new property. So if I click on this button here, page 1, it goes straight down. Now, before you could see that I had a validation, a maximum number of pages that could be submitted. I'm going to show you how this works now. So if I click on add new property, now if I add several different properties, so you'll see it up here that I've added 6, I'm about to go 7, 8, 9, I'm about to go to number 10, I'm about to go to 11. You'll see here that I get a message saying the maximum allowed pages have been hit. That is because, if you remember, when we were editing this multi-page question, and I edited it here, in the multi-page component, I set the maximum number of pages to be 10. There we are. And that is reflected on our quote here. So I'm just going to go and delete them. Just going to delete several of them now. And there we are. This was just a quick roundup really of how Multipage works. There's going to be a few more videos now that's going to go into more detail, and you can expect to see those along with this one as a series. So I hope to speak to you soon. If you have any questions after you've watched these videos, please give support a call. We'll be happy to help. Thank you.